Welcome to Wednesday, April 15th. This is what we're watching for you. Winter storm will be moving through, then improving weather is coming. We're going to have periods of heavy to moderate snow for many areas of southern Wyoming, far northern Colorado, and western Nebraska late today through Thursday night. Confidence is very high. We've seen this pattern dozens of times, and it's one of these patterns that it makes it snow and the confidence is high. Temperatures will moderate some by Friday and then into the weekend, so there are some better days ahead. It's not going to get real warm, but it's going to be warmer than it is now and a bit more spring-like. A heads up, stock growers and travelers, be prepared for the next 48 hours. Once again, we've got stressful livestock conditions coming, and stock growers and travelers need to be prepared for winter conditions through early Friday. Here's the updated precipitation forecast across Wyoming, northern Colorado and western Nebraska, northern Utah. You can see that it's a forecast that basically looks the same as I've shown you for the last several days. The east-west trending area of heavier precipitation. We still have that really strong jet stream wind that's coming over and on top of a Canadian cold front that's going to back up against the mountains, and then Pacific moisture is coming in from Washington and Oregon. So basically, we have three things: good moisture, strong upper-level jet stream winds, then a surge of Canadian air. Also, we've got upslope winds coming underneath it. This is one of these situations where the surface winds are coming in upslope from the northeast, but the upper-level jet stream winds are coming in from the west-northwest. So they come in from opposite directions, and that adds lift to the atmosphere. And that is one reason why we're so confident that what you see here is going to transpire. And you can see that the I-25 corridor of Wyoming into the Front Range of Colorado is under the gun for significant snow. And then I-80 across southwest Nebraska and southern Wyoming all the way to Evanston, to Kimball, to Sidney, going to be under the gun. And you can see the Snow Chi Min Trail, Rawlins to Laramie, and then Laramie to Cheyenne, going to be hit pretty hard with significant snow. And since temperatures are so cold, any rain or snow mix will quickly turn to snow, and those pavements are cold. So the roads are going to be much worse with this storm as compared to the last one. Snowfall totals, if we were to use a 10-to-1 ratio, it looks like this. You can see a lot of areas are over 6 inches. You can see the pink. We are getting over a foot of snow, but since temperatures are going to be colder, this may be under forecasting the snow amounts. If we use another snow forecasting tool called Kuchera, you can see that with the air colder, those snow amounts could be a little bit heavier. You see up here in the southern mountains, areas over 20 inches, that probably is going to take place. Anybody watching this podcast in the north central mountains of Colorado, Estes Park, the high elevations of Larimer County, I wouldn't be surprised if Estes Park gets 12 to 24 inches of snow out of this. It's that type of pattern. So be ready for return of winter weather conditions. By tomorrow, these are our temperatures relative to normal, and you can see that we're continuing to be plagued by this big purple monster here of unseasonably cold air banked up against the Front Range and the Continental Divide. As we go forward, though, things look better. Here is where we're going to be tomorrow. This is where we're going to be by next Wednesday. Purple monster goes away, and you can see that we get the orange, we get the yellow. We start to see above average, or at least near average, temperatures starting to return by the middle of next week. So we're not all bad news with today's podcast. Just to give you an example of the jet stream pattern that we have now, again, we've mentioned this over the last week or so. This is something you would see midwinter. A huge trough coming into the United States. And it's just not us cold, folks. Everybody in this area here across Canada and the United States is experiencing very cold April weather, and that's going to continue for a little bit longer. Here's our system coming out of British Columbia now. By tomorrow, here it is. We have that area of elongated low pressure lining up to bring us that precipitation. Still that Gulf of Alaska ridge, so the cold air continues to pour on in. However, this is by Sunday. We still have a West Coast ridge, but it's not going all the way up into Alaska, and the flow of air into Wyoming and Colorado is more from here, more from the coastal areas of Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. So that means the air will be more mild. with a deeper, colder air headed towards the Great Lakes and the northeastern United States. Going out further, by next Thursday, the flow is more westerly, more directed towards central and southern California now, which means it gets a little more mild. We showed you this yesterday, but there's now a trough in the Gulf of Alaska instead of a ridge. So that changes things. That means more mild Pacific air for us and less Canadian air being more directed this way. So we do see a modest warming trend this weekend through the middle of next week. Want to take a look now at the latest La Nina update. One thing I want to show you is the change in sea surface temperatures across the globe since December. This is from December 7th to April 7th. Anywhere you see blue, water temperatures have turned colder. Anywhere you see yellow or green, sea surface temperatures have turned a little warmer. This area in the Pacific is remarkable in how much it has cooled off. This area is really cooled off. The Pacific, relative to normal, is still warm, but it's really cooling off. And we're also seeing it cool off around here and around here near the equator, which means as we take a look out to fall and winter of 2020, we're still seeing a La Nina being forecasted. Now, we're in what's called the spring barrier, where the springtime tends to make it difficult to get a handle on sea surface temperatures as the sun angle changes on the waters as we change seasons. But the trend is really showing that the world's ocean basins are getting colder, especially the Pacific. That points to a La Nina fall 2020, winter 2021, and we'll keep updating you on this in the course of the weeks and the months ahead. Be ready for the winter weather, but better days are ahead. Thanks for listening and watching the Day Weather Podcast. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.